Hello everybody, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. My guest today is a director whom you've loved. While you've loved his action films, I promise you there is so much more to Ali Abbas Zafar than just action. There is emotion, drama and everything else in between. So glad to welcome him to the show. Thank you for doing this, Ali.
Thank you, Rudrani.
You know I mean it. I know you're looked upon as this quintessential action director, which is a great compliment. But if you look at the graph that you've had, you have always tried to experiment. I mean, your debut was Meri Brother Ki Dulhan, and in between, when you did something like a Jogi, or even for that matter, Sultan, it might be an action film, but there's so much more than that. Tell me, how have you looked at this tag, number one, and of my analysis of what I just said?
No, when I wanted to direct films, the most important thing that always fascinated me about filmmaking was stories. What genre they came from is a second step, or it's a layer that a filmmaker brings to the table. But for any filmmaker or any storyteller, what is the most important thing is the core essence of the story that you want to bring in front of an audience. Whether it's Mere Brother Ki Dulhan, which is popularly known as a romantic comedy, or Sultan, which is about a broken man rising up from his own doing and then fighting putting a fight against his own life, or it's Jogi, which is a survival story, or for that matter now a Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, which looks like a big screen action spectacle, but honestly, in all these larger than life films, you will definitely find a story which the storyteller in me wants to bring in front of an audience. And I personally think that when people remember films, they remember the films for the story that they provided to an audience more than anything else. The stars of the film, the music of the film, the performances of the film, for performances of the actors, they all stem out from that story. And somewhere or the other, I think I've been fortunate to work with the supremely talented people in their own genres to kind of do those stories. And as I say, that filmmaking is not one man's job. Yes, a director is on the driver's seat, but a lot more goes behind telling those stories on camera, off camera, technically, and all of that is a combined emotion that an audience feels when they watch it in theaters.
You're bringing together back to biggest action stars, the OG action star Akshay Kumar, and then of course Tiger with the kind of branding that he has made today. But it's interesting that Akshay has been very honest about how he's been trying to do different kind of films, and his fans have always been telling him, let's do an action, which he was known for. And some of his films didn't work. This is actually one of the films where all of his fans feel like it's getting back that OG action star that he was also known for. And I know that you must have heard these discussions in those rooms as well. I know you don't take pressure, but this is also a big one for the two people who are involved, along with everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. Means I won't deny that I don't take pressure. There is definitely a lot of pressure, especially if you're doing this event film with two big action stars, and especially when people call him the Khiladi Kumar and they call him the true blue action hero. My idea is that when I make films, I like to celebrate stars. I like to give them the positioning that their audience want them to have, and with that I want to tell a special story with them, which becomes the part of their filmography where they feel that there was something special in that film. The Indian cinema is known to celebrate stars on a big screen. That is why even a normal film for us is like a superhero film.
Yeah.
Now South is doing it in such a beautiful way. The way they shoot their introduction scenes, the way every time an actor enters a scene, there is this slow motion shot, and people are loving this, and they're saying that these are the kind of films that they want to come and watch in theaters. As filmmakers, as storytellers, sometimes we just get too impressed by what people say about us, rather than understanding one basic fact, that uh, the prime thing that a cinema needs to do, or any piece of art needs to do, is entertain. And in cinema we entertain through our stories. So those stories needs to be entertaining enough, and at the same time, if you can bring something new to the table every time you do that, if you can question the conscience of an audience while watching it, then you are a master of your craft.
Yeah.
And I think lot of people are doing that very successfully as filmmakers in this country at this point of time.
In this sea of action films that are released in the past 2-3 years, I know that you'll want yours to stand out and be remembered and be iconic in action. And you always try to elevate your game. Tell me how that happens in Bade Miyan Chote Miyan for you, because knowing you, you must have done something spectacular. And of course, you've always been particular about the fact that you want to use the real stars doing real action in real locations. And I know that you all have used not so much CGI here in Bade Miyan as well. Let's talk about that.
Well, see, the thing is that as soon as I had Akshay sir and Tiger on the film, and also Prithviraj Sukumaran, the idea was that somewhere or the other we create this new language of action which takes this genre forward. Every film is a game changer. Few days ago someone asked me a question, saying that that shot of Salman sir in Tiger Zinda Hai, where he comes out with a gun, became very iconic. And I said that Stallone has done it, Arnold Schwarzenegger has done it, but what made the Sultan shot special for Salman sir's shot in Tiger Zinda Hai so special was the emotional thrust that was backing it off, because he comes out at a point where they feel that now these nurses can't get out of the hospital. So when you have an emotional backing to a shot like that, you feel why that shot is so important. With Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, yes, there is very less use of VFX. Yes, we have shot the film on real location. But what I think where I've pushed the bracket on this film is the way the action is narrated in the film. It is very, very situational. Lot of time with action and music, what happens is there is a story going, and we feel that now the audience will get bored. Let's put in a song in there, or we put an action in there to itemize it. What a true action film is all about, that character needs to be embedded in the film.
Yeah.
While here they play two special forces officers who don't take them too seriously. There's a lot of quirk in Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. I'm not going to say that it's a comedy film, but there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor there. It's about soldiers, and any soldier who takes an oath that he will always put the nation in front of his own life, in front of his own family, every day is out there for a celebration. That celebration is that I am the guardian. I am that guardian. And when you feel that, and because I've grown up in cantonment, I always find soldiers and people who are part of defense enjoying their life as if every day means a lot to them. Because in a situation where there will ever be a war, those will be the first people to be out there to fight for the country. So my heroes are more quirky. The action in the film is pushed to a level that it is believable, yet it is spectacular on a big screen. And in the middle of all that, I just feel, which I've revealed very less in the trailer because I wanted the discovery of the characters to be in the film, are relationships and human drama. And a human drama which is very, very contemporary, of a problem that we all are facing. Right now, the biggest film industry in the West have just come out of a huge strike. Very few people know why there was that strike, what the reason of that strike is. And as the world move forward, that strike will not only be contained in a creative field, that strike will very slowly move into every aspect of the filmmaking. Bade Miyan Chote Miyan takes a stand on something which is very, very topical and something which is to be questioned now when we can still contain it, rather than leave it and then feel, oh, now we are under a burden of something that cannot be cured.
It's so fascinating you brought up AI because it is true. Which is why do you think you push even now and you will continue to do that, to give the respect to the writers and to give the respect to the action coordinators, because you
100%.
know that this industry will face that impact?
100%. I personally think that what separates humans over anything that is been scientifically created is one core emotion of emotion. Um, and the day we alienate that emotion, I think we will end up moving into what we call a doomsday. uh, what keeps us alive is emotion. What separates us from anything else is emotion. The respect for the writers who bring the emotions through their stories, the respect to the technicians, whether they are cameraman, action director, sound recordist, production designer, to keep and to bring that story alive is very, very important. Um, the day AI becomes your search engine or a reference engine to start making art, which stems out of creativity, and creativity stems out of life, we are just going downhill from there.
Ali, because you said that, I would request you to please decode or give me some details about those explosions that I see, or some of the biggest action sequence, the behind the scenes working, how you pull that off.
Oh no, see, the thing is that what is important on a big action film is that you design an action first of all on paper. Then the next step after that is you get the right people with good experience to execute them. So when people talk about that action films are actually made on set, I would say it's a myth. Action films are made in pre-production. We are making a film. Everything that looks on camera has to be real. That is how I approach it. But at the same time, has to be very, very safe. Not only for the safety of the actors who would be doing it, but even for stuntmen, for technical crew, everyone. So the process is that first thing that we do is we storyboard each and every sequence. So we know each and with that storyboarding that what our frames would be, what our edit would be. Now, with the on a film like Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, where you can afford, you get the right people from all over the world, put them into a room, jam about the action sequence, pay enough detail for the safety, and then get the right technical crew to execute it to perfection to make it a certain way. When people talk about action, there are different departments of action. There is an SFX department, which is called the special effect department, which basically does all your guns, explosions, creating rigs for yourself in terms of what you want to achieve through your visual storytelling. And then there are people who design each and every stunt and bring drama to the performance of the actor while they're performing. Because somewhere or the other, what is very important is that the character should not lose the expression while he's doing the stunt and become an action hero. So it's a combination of a lot of things. On camera, on Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, we have tried to do the biggest gasoline explosion ever to be attempted. There is one shot of Akshay sir and Tiger in the trailer. They are on the car, and there's a huge explosion that happens behind them. It's all real, no VFX, nothing. Why it happens, what is the need of that explosion, you will understand that when you watch the film. But it was executed with the real actors at a very close, safe proximity from where that explosion was happening. I've used real guns now, because a lot of time now in films we use dummy guns and we add the gun sparks in the post production. But when you use a real weapon, there is a certain recoil that the gun gives you while you fire it. That was the reason the shell comes out a certain way. So 80% of the guns in Bade Miyan Chote Miyan are real guns. You cannot reuse the real guns because there have been a lot of accidents in recent times which have been fatal.
You know, you say that and you mention about how emotions are so important for you. We know that because in the films that you worked with Salman, let's say Sultan, you know, Tiger Zinda Hai, Bharat, all of them, he was also appreciated for finally, like, you know, that you can say he's done so well with acting and it's gotten him that praise. You share a fantastic bond with him for so many years, and I think it's evolved over the years. I also am very aware of the fact among the very few people who actually sit with him and tell him if you don't like a shot, because you know some others have felt intimidated. How do you deal with the stories that come and say, you know, there have been issues which is why you've not done his film? Because the fact of the matter remains you have a long standing relationship with him.
No, see, I always say that, you know, my and Salman sir, as I call him, Bhai, is a very beautiful bond. See, first of all, I always say that two people who've contributed a lot to my career is Salman sir and Adi Chopra. You know, and I think somewhere or the other our bond is about honesty. You know, I feel that somewhere or the other an actor-director relationship has to be very, very honest, and especially when the stakes are really high. As I always say, when you work with superstars, the most important thing about superstars is that that you write a character for superstars that their fans want to actually see them as.
Yeah.
You cannot let that side down. Every time I work with Salman sir, or now even for Akshay sir and Tiger, my idea is that when people who like them come to theater, they say that this director, this story has justice to the character that superstar is playing. Um, and I would say that, you know, I feel that there is a very beautiful actor in Salman sir, which a lot of people don't see, because first of all he's a very good looking man, and second of all he's a huge star, and then people say that the performance that he's doing is always overshadowed by the charisma that he holds like a star. Um, he's one of those last superstars whose craze is so much that even if, you know, he has a wet eye, people understand the kind of emotion that he holds. I've worked with him on Bharat and Sultan, which were very challenging roles, and I think everyone who's seen those films understand that if you're not an actor, you will not be able to do even 1/3 of what he could do. Um, the most difficult emotion to portray on camera is to make people laugh when you laugh on camera, or do a comedy, or people should feel broken down and maybe cry when your character cries on camera. And I feel he does both those emotions so blatantly, honestly, you know, that the impact with an audience is tenfolds of what would happen with an actor who does not have that much of mass connect. Also, he's been around for so long, and one of the reasons that he survived only because he's a great actor.
If you had to pick one action film in the last 3 years that totally impressed you, maybe for whatever reason it might be, as an action fan, what film would you pick among the Hindi film industry films, of course, or actually Indian film industry film? Why not Hindi? And why did you pick that?
In the Indian film industry, I personally feel that I think RRR was very good. Only for a fact that, first of all, I really felt the storytelling style was phenomenal. Second of all, there are certain sequences in the film which are so fantastical, like this whole sequence where he brings the animals and those
In the
animals
cage.
jump. So I just felt that to think of an idea and then to get executed, and then to have a entry of a hero who's trying to capture a tiger, the whole sequence of them on the bike trying to chase or save a kid, and using the Indian flag, that a flag of this country will never catch fire. I just felt that thought of designing action was very beautiful and philosophical. So I think that film kind of made me feel that if your conviction is right and your thought is correct, then you can really push a bracket even in a unrealistic way and still get away with it, because audience will love it. Like this whole introduction of Ramcharan getting in the middle of thousands of people trying to drag one person out and still coming back alive. If someone tells me on that paper that this is the introduction of a hero, I will be like, oh, I don't buy into it. But the way Rajamouli sir executed, and I was convinced after watching it, um, is hats off.
Is there a Hindi film that you particularly like when it comes to action?
Oh well, lately the film that I really liked the action was Jawan. I really thought, again, I just feel that the story of Jawan was the biggest hero, and the way Atlee kind of used the characters and the story to weave this larger than life action, slow motion, high speed, background score was something very very good, and that speech of Shah Rukh sir kind of made all the difference. Uh, so I just feel that the intent of the film and the garnishing of action, when falls right, there is no turning back from there.
People are expecting, I'm sure, the OG Bade Miyan Chote Miyan to maybe at some point make an appearance. We don't know whether that'll happen.
Yes.
And look, he's smiling at me, so we still don't know, right?
Yes, we don't know.
We don't know. But I know that you all must have taken it to the team, the OG team, and sort of given them a hint, because you're kind of taking the name from the franchise. That's where it ends, of course.
Oh, well, see the way the Bade Miyan Chote Miyan title comes in the film is very quirky, and I have not spoken about this in any interview or any conversation with anyone, because I feel that when you watch it in the film, it will give you a smile. And I feel when you see why they are called Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, um, it's very quirky. So when you watch it, you will experience it, and hopefully you will message me and tell me that that was too good.
Okay, fantastic. I've also mentioned the fact that you make space for female characters to exist in action worlds. Taking example, and also you like the fact you don't look at it like in a gender specific way. Ki let's take the biggest male star and to do it only because Mere Vedaki Dulhan, Sultan Anushka's role, Bharat, everywhere else, Tiger Zinda hai. You made space that even there, giving her one of the most coolest action sequence, done by an actor ever, male, female. I don't even want to go there. I think it was superb, the execution. Tell me why that is important for you, because I don't see too many people doing that. I know, of course, Rohit has been creating a world. You have, the entire world happening with Deepika and all joining in, but you've been making those attempts for a while, so I would like to discuss that.
Means for me, I've been raised around very strong women. My mom, all my aunts, my teachers, my wife now, my friends, and I just feel that someone who gives you birth is the strongest source of energy after God. And I just feel that that energy needs to be celebrated in every possible way. And I feel that now I have a daughter, so I feel it even more. and I always try to write characters for girls in my film, which makes a change in the story. You know, so they are always part of story. They are not कि अच्छा क्योंकि हीरोइन चाहिए तो हीरोइन लिख दो और पर वो फिल्म में कुछ नहीं कर रही है. So why I think when people talk about Katrina's character or Anushka's character is because they are the reason for that film. Whether it was Brother Ki Dulan, Sultan, even Bharat, even in Bade Miyan Chote Miyan, I have kept them under wraps because once their tracks get exposed, when the film comes out, maybe people will be calling them, congratulating them, and maybe doing a lot of interviews with them because you will get their context in the film.
Sure.
This is always my like I always make sure while writing the script that I write good characters, and I always feel that when a girl comes into the theater or a woman comes into the theater, she should find the heroines as strong as hero, and that is the balance of life.
Yeah, very well said. I will end it now. First of all,
Thank you.
thank you so much for giving me
Thank you.
time. I know you have a lot going on in your life right now, so not so much pressure.
No, I'm not. I don't have that much of pressure. My thing is that my pressure is that films like this has to be delivered to an audience in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Whether it's your VFX, it's your sound, because it's an experience film. So my stress is that that I should complete the film and bring it in front of an audience which so much of finish that they all say wow.
Yeah. I could hear that sense of adoration and admiration for stars like Prithviraj and Ramcharan, and I've heard that you are doing something with someone with a very big superstar from the other languages besides Hindi, the other industries. I'd like to say if there is any truth to that.
No, there's no truth to that.
Or if there's no truth to that, then
I would love to work for
with
sure.
whom?
With a lot of them. Means I really like Ram Jr., NTR, Allu Arjun. I think they're all fascinated stars. I've been a huge fan of Kamal Hassan and Rajni sir. Means we've grown up watching Indian. We've grown up watching films of Rajnikant. Like Robo is one of my favorite films. Robo 1, according to me, was fascinating. And I really love the honesty and the honesty of South Indian heroes when I say. And I feel they have a huge connect with an audience. So I feel that definitely if there is ever a script and a chance, I would love to work with them.
Fantastic. Thank you
you
so much, Ali.
Thank you.
I'm obviously putting this out in the universe because we'd love to see you creating fascinating worlds. So thank you for doing this once again,
Thank
and all the very best.
Thank you very much.